Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford. And filling in for Zachary Patton Garcia today, we have
Liv
and Rob.
Hello, I'm so happy to have both of you here. We're talking Yellowjackets Season 3, Episode 8. Liv, I have seen all of your unhinged Yellowjackets tweets, and they have made me very happy. I know when you get into a fandom, you get into a fucking fandom.
Yeah, I actually have not been this invested in something probably since Buffy, TBH, since my first pass at Buffy.
Makes sense, honestly.
Where I'm reading fan fiction again.
Definitely the best theme song since Buffy.
Oh, so true.
Love Anna Warrenker, that dog, all that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the music is all really good. I've noticed lately, today we got, in this episode we get Slater Kinney. I noticed they've been mixing a little bit, rather than just sticking to early 90s rock, they've been mixing in
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. And I kind of like that we're not just sticking to 93, even though I love the early 90s stuff they always play.
I think there's foreshadowing it too.
You think so?
Well, because you and I have discussed this offline, but I think, like you said, we're building towards a flip-flop in the timelines of location where we're going to start seeing flashbacks to what happened to these girls when they got back, while the adults are going to be back to the woods.
Yeah.
So good.
Rob, what do you think of this episode?
It's funny. I was riveted, but I also think certain parts of it were stronger than others. And I'm actually glad we're talking more about the timelines, because I think the Shauna stuff was the real meat and potatoes of the episode, particularly with Hilary Swank. Less anyone needed reminder, is never hotter than when she's playing Butch.
Like a soft Butch.
but also just the chemistry between those two. It felt like Hilary Swank been a member of the show for years. There was, I'm actually starting to feel confident that the show knows what they're doing with what they're setting up and how they're debuting it. My one complaint about the episode, which I think is because it was intentional on their part, stuff's not adding up in the present. Yeah. And I'm curious to see what the final two episodes are going to hold for that.
Liv, what'd you think?
I actually think that was a great description, in that I was riveted. I honestly had a date on Thursday and I was like, you need to leave because I have to watch Yellowjackets. So I watched Yellowjackets after a night out at the Abbey in West Hollywood, where I saw Chris Colfer and Patti LuPone. Hey, right? And
Patti LuPone.
Patti LuPone was putting dollar bills in the dancers. It was amazing. It was the best thing I've ever seen. I love LA. So I'm sitting down to Yellowjackets. I should be kind of dozing off. No, I'm riveted watching, but I have things that I'm not loving about it overall, but I still was entertained. And I think I'm in the boat of the people with the comments where it's I don't have to like Shauna to enjoy watching her. I don't really care if she's making moral decisions, that she's an entertaining character. But yeah, I am having some annoyance with her in a general sense, but I still, that makes me like the show and her more.
Liv,
that's why I'm excited to see the flashbacks continue after they get back, because I think Shauna
did some bad shit. Yeah.
Well, even in this episode, that whole "who do you think you are that you get to just leave this all behind?" That is some Tony Soprano. If I feel like shit, everybody has to feel like shit ethos.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it just really, Shauna's really crystallized as uniquely messed up by what happened out there, but also unique in that she was going down a dark path or landed out there.
Yeah. And I think, Liv, to your point, last episode I was I hate Shauna Shipman. I don't think I've hated a character in a show that I love so much. I can't remember since when. And I think people I don't know why people need to moralize characters, right? Because she's not good. You can enjoy her and like her on screen, but she's a bad person.
We've been cheering slashers in horror movies for how many years, but one of them finally actually turns out to be the protagonist of a Showtime show, and suddenly we're up in arms.
The way that people try to therapize and I don't know, just moralize all the things of this show, I'm shut up.
Right.
Like, yeah, like, and I actually do feel comforted in that at least the Twitter fandom section that I'm in is like a lot of lesbians who are like, I don't care, are like balking at like the general public of the show, being like, you relax, like, and I feel very validated and seen by that because it is annoying to then open TikTok, people being like, more Jeff, I love Jeff, and I'm like, oh my God, if your favorite character is Jeff, find a new show.
Like he's
Now
the
that
best
said, Jeff is a
man.
constant highlight of the show,
I
but
think
that's
he's
not why I am tuning
fantastic.
in. Yeah.
Thank you. I think
Yeah.
he's a fantastic addition. I enjoy when I see him. Although this episode, and we will talk about it, I was like, you don't get to talk about Shauna like that. I get to talk about Shauna. Relax.
That's
But
my crazy.
that's my crazy bitch. Um, but it's not, I'm not like, if you're watching this mostly every week just to like what Jeff gets up to and you want him to have the full hour, like I think
Yeah.
every other show for you.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Even Callie would make more sense to follow full time at this
Say.
point. Yeah.
I have liked what we've been doing with Callie too. I have enjoyed. You know what? We're gonna start on Jeff and Callie since we're already
Let's do
talking
it.
about them.
Sure.
This is the first time I've had them have their own section in a breakdown. But I kind of like the idea of them getting a little more to do because Callie, the thing I do really like about Callie is she is both her mom and her dad. Where like you fuck with her and she will pull some Shauna Shipman shit, but she's like mostly can be a normal person and interact with you normally. Just don't fuck with her. So I kind of like her and her dad's dynamic of her being like, get it together, dad, and him like, oh yeah, you're right, I should. And he's just like a nice dope.
Mm-hmm.
He just like needs a woman to tell him what to do. Which nothing wrong with it. So we get them like on a little father-daughter dinner date. The Joels enter. I do like that he's like such a nice dope that he doesn't even get when they're like, "Oh, that's the girl you're with." And he was like, "Yeah, it's my daughter." Like, what?
Yeah.
Um,
Ugh.
I don't. Yeah, the Joels. I was like, I don't know why he's sucking up them, but I guess it's just like they need the money, right? It's like a
But he
job.
also kind of turned it around on them by like he kind of played by their rules and kind of really emasculated him in his own way at the end, which I think could have gone either way. He's been telling them, "Hey, you messed up with your pick."
Yeah, yeah. I don't
And you
know.
don't know what a real woman is, apparently. Like,
Do you, not to separate a little bit, but do you feel like Callie had the note? Like
That's
based
what
on the
I'm
way she
part
was
wondering.
of what's not
acting?
adding up.
Right? And I'm like, I couldn't tell. Like she was giving like sus on her phone, like whatever. Like she was definitely give like. But then again, I really think that these are gonna be either like these last two episodes are either gonna be so rushed and we're still gonna have a 5 million questions, or it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
like we're getting answers in some way of this thing because that needs to come together.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Like why share the tape and not the note?
Yes.
I think I
Like
know why.
Yes.
let me hear your take.
This is assuming Melissa Swank was telling the truth.
I do
Which
think she
also, yeah,
was.
could be a lie.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
but if she's telling the truth, that letter probably largely dives into a relationship Shauna had out there that I'm betting Jeff does not know about, and Callie might just trying to be bearing her father some hurt.
And have it over her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a double whammy for her because that's true. I think people are saying like it seems like Jeff started reading at Jackie. Like, you know, at
understandable.
yeah, 100. But that's like where his and that he was probably skimming anyway.
He got to the
Like,
baby at least.
but I guess I don't know. I guess like post stuff that didn't mention him. Like people are like, when it dry, I don't know. So that is seems to be big theories that he does not know about Melissa, at least within the fandom.
Well, and like I realized that in season 1, I assumed Jeff and Callie knew at least a little bit more, but they don't, right? Like Shauna hasn't really told anyone. And I think I had just until like the last season towards the end, I was like, oh wait, they don't know any. Like I thought they like she told them a little bit at least, but they don't know like shit. Like when she asked Lottie and Misty, like, did you eat people? I was like, wait, she doesn't know that they did? Like, fuck. I thought at least she knew that. because the thing I keep going back to is these are like teens stuck in the woods. I wouldn't be mad if you ate my dead body. I would be like, yeah, fucking they needed to eat, whatever.
Sorry.
Like,
I don't know if I'd be mad. I'm not sure that's exact. I mean, I think the thing is you're talking about this list like the any of us are likely to ever find ourselves. And the whole thing is the situation itself is so unthinkable.
true.
So true.
The whole point is they're on hell on earth right now.
True. I do like Jeff leaving Misty a voicemail saying freaky little four-eyed mushroom.
Amazing. The voicemails in this were amazing. I also loved Misty calling Shauna. Fuck you, actually. Like I love her.
And then ending the call, thank you.
Misty continues to low key be the best one. She's in a lot of ways the crazy, like a lot more openly crazy. Like,
absolutely. Although, funny thing I will give to Twitter is people being like, Misty's head is rejecting. Ricci's head is rejecting the wig.
It's just like it was
supposed to look so awful.
It was pretty far back this last season.
It was like halfway back. In that voicemail scene, I'm like, oh no.
While
and
young
the parts
bangs are coming down further and further over her eyes.
It's just like the part is like here, and then it's so bad. Oh God, help her. Help her.
So Callie, I do think Callie, y'all saying that, I'm like, maybe she does know, because it does seem like Callie knows a little bit more than Jeff. She's like also a little bit more motivated to be like, Mom might be a bad person, Dad.
Leading the horse to water, kind of.
Yeah. Like, and I do think that like the main whenever we get there will be like them having to decide if they will be like, yeah, Shauna, you're nuts. We need to turn on you. Or if they're like, man, we'll do murders with you.
I think it's more about what Shauna do when it comes to that point.
I've been thinking about that with Shauna because I just don't know why her will to live is so strong. And this episode, I feel like I don't even think it's her will to live. I think it's her like survival instinct and that she is psychotic and needs to be in control of.
She needs to feel like she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before I was like, I just don't, why is her will to, like, I just would be like, yeah, fucking whatever. Like, I don't know that I would do all this, but I think it's like her control, that she like needs to feel. I don't know. And like, Jeff is kind of like a sweet dope, so he's perfect for that. And Callie is like sweet, but has her mom to her. So she's like, some shit's going on.
Speaking of Jeff, I am wondering if we're ever going to get more in terms of why he started sleeping with Shauna behind Jackie's back in the first place. Because we're very clear why Shauna did that.
Right.
We don't really know a lot of Jeff's point of view or perspective before the crash. So I just wonder if that's ever going to get fleshed out. I'm not even necessarily but it is something you brought up, Jackie, and that thoughts in my head. We don't really know what his true feelings were about losing Jackie that way or anything like that. Yeah. The one time it referenced, he actually stuck up for Shauna against Jackie's parents. So I'm curious.
Oh, I forgot about that. God,
that was way back. That was the last time we ever really saw him register any kind of remembrance of Jackie. So.
Yeah. And that was back when Shauna, we thought she felt bad about things. So Misty, Van, and Ty are in the hospital. Misty leaves that voicemail, which I love. Misty is my favorite. I am Misty. She just wants to be loved, but she also like
be your friend.
Yeah. I actually think this was the most we've had like in Ty connect, and it was sweet. Because she was trying to be helpful. Obviously, my biggest gripe with the episode is my wife wasn't even fucking in it. How am I supposed to go a week without looking at Lauren's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful face?
Also, was that remission just a fluke? Because I don't know why the test would be saying it stopped metastasizing and then having her decline so.
So my only thought is like, is this the Jennifer's body? Where like, you got to keep going, bitch. Like we need fresh blood pretty often, or you're gonna deteriorate. Like maybe. If that is, that whole thing, obviously what they're playing at here.
That's what I've thought. It's like, oh, because they haven't fed the beast or whatever. It's like, well, now we go like full tilt into like.
Yeah, like you gotta like get it now, or it's also, do they have to kill the final beat? Like, is there something? Okay, so like, will she get better once they've done what the theories are kind of coming at, which is the adult cannibalism, which we had a little
Or
taste of, but my dream, I have to grab my boobs. My dream is obviously that like we get in a situation where we are feeding Van somebody to just because I want to see an unhinged lesbian psychosis. Listen, they're putting a horrible spot with Ty Van as like being their daughter of like the options are Van dies and but they're together with regular Ty and Van and at least Van comforted and Ty it's horrible. Van lives but hates Thaisa because Thaisa or other Ty as we see completely goes against Van and regular Ty so they're
or
living but at what cost or
secret third option, because we talked about Buffy earlier. I'd say the other clear antecedent of this show is clearly Lost. What if Van has to go back? What if it's like Rose cancer on the island? The wilderness specifically wants them.
So,
or they think so.
This brings up my question I've asked everyone the first time. Do y'all think it's supernatural or a mass hallucination?
I think they're hedging their bets. I'd be fine with either. I think they're playing fair enough. It wouldn't feel like a cheat, but we'll see.
Liv?
Well, I think it's extremely interesting also in the Thaisa Van dynamic between modern and past that it's like, or even like Van being, what do you never, well, we'll get to the team timeline, but just within this, like Van to Thais being like, what do you mean you're not like you never cared about any of it, like you didn't even believe in any of this, and now you're telling me like the trees are speaking to you, like being then where we get it's like always shifting, like who's the believer, I guess.
Well, also which Ty was that?
Exactly.
How
well,
long
and I think
has
the way
other
that
Ty been steering the car, you know?
I mean, and we the fucking man with no eye. That was a creepy. We'll get there, whatever. But the way that you couldn't like look at man. Then again, there's pragmatic reasons why they do have to talk about it before they leave. I don't know. There's a
I was thinking that, Liv. I was like, everyone's being crazy, but like I do understand that she's like, we should probably discuss what we're gonna say.
Like, yeah, like I was like, because Ty's always been pragmatic like that. Like, out of character for me to be like, well, let's wait a second. But then it's like, no, it's because I'm feeling this. On the point, like, is it supernatural? If not, Ty is like fully in psychosis because that's like you are outside of your body, looking at your body on the inside. Like that's not good. Like that's
and again that predates the plane crash.
Totally. So that I don't know if that's an element of like, but I mean, you could play with supernatural a little bit, I guess. It depends how bad they want to go into it. Is like, is one being haunted and that is now manifesting in a psycho, like it just feels a little crazier than you would think. I really think they are walking the line to be like, we're gonna decide at the last minute.
I mean, like the last time when they explained it away with the frog orgy, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked that. It kind of felt
thought
like
that was great,
cosmic joke. Yeah,
I didn't like the frogs. I didn't like it.
Really, I mean, I was so bored by that. I can't lie. In the last episode, I was like, why is there like minutes on this setup?
I think it was showing how mundane. Maybe it's setting us up for how a lot of these explanations are going to end up being, that they really did just snap out there. Like,
I
mean, because you do have Shauna in like the end of season 2 giving the like, there was nothing, it was just us. And maybe the point is that Shauna is the most face to face with her own reality. Like, just knows she's a bad person.
Like even more of the point to that was when Lottie saying, does it matter? Because again, I think they want you to say you're paying attention to the wrong stuff. The real mystery is what all did they do? And we're seeing it as obvious this year already. It's confirming it is far more twisted and messed up than even the public suspects at this point.
Yeah. I think it's like, it's true though, for how long would it really take? If you believe that you're stuck out there, like that you created your new society, new rules, new everything, and like the fact that the only adult person they had was like immediately crippled and couldn't be like how different would it be if they had that like they were forced to respect for a little bit at least or something
like Sue Sylvester from Glee.
Exactly, like Sue Sylvester from Glee. But like, I guess we'll see it a little bit with like this Hannah dynamic, but I don't think it's gonna be
Also, with Hannah, I can't tell how old she's supposed to be because I feel like
a grad student.
I feel like these actors are all very clearly the same age? Like that actor looks the same age as the like teen girls are supposed to be.
Well,
She had originally auditioned to be one of the girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was she auditioned to be one of the Yellowjackets originally.
really? Yeah, I read that she was auditioned to be a character that was now cut.
Oh,
That
maybe
was
that's what it
supposed to
was.
be
Yeah.
a woman who was actually crashed down with them that was like a female teacher that had a coach Ben
That could make,
that
maybe I just was confused and
they
assumed
cut
she
the
was
part
talking
of though. It
there.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
Okay.
Kind of the
Oh,
same way like Van was supposed to die in season 1 and
huh.
they recut.
Thank God.
That's
The only one I'm
interesting.
rooting for at this point.
Well, okay, we'll wrap them up because then I have things about onto that.
Yes.
But I will kill myself if he dies. I actually can't. I the trope or the whole story is like killing people, so like it's not, I guess, a bury your gaze, but like it's still a bury your gaze to me. Like it still
I
is.
don't think it is.
It kind of is.
I brought this
I
up
don't
a few
know.
episodes ago because I was like,
It
I
is.
see some people say it only about Van and Ty, but like everyone on the show is gay, and I don't understand why it's
But
not.
Van is like explicitly a dyke.
But I think it's also more than that. Van is the moral center of
Yes, I
the
think.
group in both timelines. Like Van did what she had to do to survive. I think she has that moral clarity where she's made peace with that. Like she has to live with it, but she also knows
Okay,
she
yeah.
did it to live.
Well, like, yeah, I do feel like Van is the one who's trying to be like, yeah, we ate people, and people, that's so callous. And it's like, but I think it's also her not trying to pretend,
Yeah.
Like she made a
which
point
is,
last year when she said, I am grateful that I'm alive. I'm not happy doing any of this, but I am happy that we are still here. Like,
and we see it even a taste of it in this episode, like where, obviously, like, well, people are, the threat is they're going to be like, we're going to have tie up and Van die at the same
yeah.
time, and I'm going to lose my shit. But
God.
that like teen Van is not like, okay, we'll go home and like people are homophobic, whatever. People have been homophobic to me my whole life. Like,
Mhm.
versus, which obviously it's like Thais is a black lesbian in the 90s. It's a different situation. It's not to
Yep.
judge why she'd be afraid of that.
Right.
But like, it's a different, Van's like, okay, like my mom's a drunk. People have probably been an ashy for the way that I'm obviously gay. Like
Because right, like Van, we assume Van seems to have been out before, right?
Van was good with herself before they crashed out there. The other ones were all in their own state of turmoil.
I feel like Van maybe even wasn't out, but surely people were like calling her a dyke. Like surely she was,
That's fair. Yeah, she would
but
be.
like I'm sure she, because no, because they still were like some of them shocked when they went out at cooking. But maybe that was just that they were dating. I don't know. Who knows?
They weren't
But
I think
like,
they were closeted still.
yes,
Yeah.
I posited, but
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess the point being that like was okay with all of that versus everyone else who's like, I have to either pretend that that didn't happen, or you're
Right.
Lottie and you're like completely still in it, or you're Misty and you have all these crazy coping mechanisms. Clearly, Van, it's living in the past, whatever, but also isn't like harming anyone in that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I'm Van. Look at my room.
Like, I'm just gonna vibe. But it's so I think it'll be like a real, I mean, it's crazy, I guess, within like 11 episodes to kill off Nat, Lottie, and Van. I mean, I'm sure they'll do it, but
I feel like
just
we need a
it
button on live to do that though.
yes, to me it kind of feels like they're, if they do that, it's to make room for Hillary Swank. In that case, I'm pissed. If
But
it's like we
also,
have to kill off Van to give
yeah.
Hillary Swank in title billing, like actually
Also, what
Yeah.
is this show's
cut the
budget?
hat.
What is their casting budget? Because Jesus Christ,
Two-time
like,
Oscar winner.
like Oscar winners, Emmy winners, like big, like famous people from the 90s. Like I feel like their budget. And I feel like to keep Jasmine Savoy Brown, who has now become way more famous than she was when the show started. I'm like, what the like I feel like that's why Elijah Wood has been delegated to just text messages this season.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
Yeah.
we don't have the budget for you, so like you're gonna be just comedic.
I have hope Jasmine, I really do think like loves this character and the
I
gay
think she
people in
does
it that
too,
I
yeah.
think is like committed to telling this story, and so hearts
Well,
Yeah.
also
to
between that
them.
and she's like really like the queer horror genre. She likes having that niche. I would too, you know?
I
Yeah.
could I trust that she's not like, and 5 million and up.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'll show up late to set, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be me. But I would do that even without the fame. I do feel like Van and Nat were the ones that seemed to get their life. I mean, Nat had a more human reaction to like coping with like addiction issues and like drugs and shit like that, which like I feel like that's how I would deal with that or the stunted adult because that's what I am. But like they're the ones that weren't like killing people, right? Like I feel like they're the two that weren't actively like, oh yeah, let's murder. But the
Well, I
rest of
think
them,
Natalie has a higher body count than a lot of the girls in the past right now, Lottie, because all the other murders were just kind of the wilderness brought it along, but they didn't actually kill. Natalie killed Coach Steve, and it
true.
was a mercy killing, which
But
has
yeah,
a whole other level of sitting with that.
I love Nat so much. I get so upset when they mistreat her in the past. I'm like, stop being mean to her.
It's
I'm
literally
upset
giving like
Juliette
when
Lewis
they're
is gone because I want to see Juliette Lewis reckon with this now. Like,
Or
it's like when they're mean to Buffy. Like that's how I feel about Nat. I'm like, be nice to
she's
Natalie.
right. Like,
She's literally right. She's so right. And also, this is the funny thing, but like written in the pilot or like the original scripts that Nat and Van were childhood best friends. And so like I still run with that as like a headcanon for me. But Nat's the one who gives you the explanation of, or like that Van jumped in front of a train and killed her.
oh,
And like because Van was supposed to be like the Travis.
I see.
oh, huh.
And then Nat is the one who's like telling you all this. Like they
I
were
didn't
like
know
best
that.
friends.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I do think they have similarities and
Yeah.
things line up, and it's interesting to wonder like how much of that came from their original ideas.
So I do like, I mean, this is real quick. I do like when I do like seeing Misty, like you said, live. Misty does want to help, right? Like she does feel bad for Ty. The thing with Misty is she does love these girls, right? Like I do
Yeah.
think
They're her family.
they are, and she's so ride or die for them. I don't understand why they don't understand that. Like
That
even
really intense trauma bond.
even if you
I
find her
like Don.
annoying, she's like so helpful.
Like this show, the show couldn't exist without a character like Misty. Like
Mm-mm.
there's too many plot holes without Misty.
Yeah, yeah.
I also think Misty could very easily be insufferable if it wasn't for Christina Ricci.
Yes.
True.
Like,
Yeah. And like I like her when she's like, Ty, what do you need me to do? Like she genuinely wants to help her friend.
mhm.
And
And she's like clocked in enough to know how to do some like we
Yeah.
are in a weird place. Like you might do some weird shit, and
yes,
I'll assist.
I was
Do you
kind of
think Van's gonna die? Just tell
I
me.
no, I don't think so. I think
Not
Van
yet.
will die, but not yet. Yes, I think that'll be like the way I think Shauna will have to die by the end of the show. I think that will be the end of the show. I
Well,
think
I kind of think they'll
Van.
all die, maybe.
I don't know. I feel like Shauna's the one that's going to be like the final boss they have to defeat. Um, but maybe you're right. I could see like more of them dying in that.
But if Van dies this season, I will be wearing all black,
I really
and
don't
we
think
will be
she
in
will.
memoriam.
I really don't think this season she will. But I do like
Or that'll
I
be the cliffhanger.
right, yes. I do like Ty going into the room with the fucking pillow, not doing it. The guy dies, and she's like, "Does that count?"
That was I, I think they've done some big swings in terms of tonal shift, but that was one of the first times joke out of something really effed up that I thought it worked. Just
It
because she
did.
sounded so like, what did I do? Does that count? Like, it just there was just something so human about that.
And this was like a lot more seeing other Ty, regular Ty, like very clearly defined. I felt like you're seeing Ty pick off those ridiculous fucking acrylics that she had on that I clocked episodes ago, being like,
Good catch.
the fuck is that on her fingers? Just because she's never had nails done, and now all of a sudden she has bleed out
Yeah.
acrylics. Like, all
Mhm.
right, other Ty,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even
chill.
notice that.
They, and then in this episode, you see her like clicking them all off.
Yeah.
And it's like when she's talking to the doctor, being like, "Well, can I take her to another hospital?" Blah blah blah. And so I found that interesting of like that it does come to the head at the end there, like that we're truly seeing them talk to each other.
Yeah.
That it's
Yeah.
like we are in full dissociative. It's
Yeah.
sad that like if Van is struggling, so they're gonna see like they're gonna have like a heart of Lottie shit in their mouth, but
Yeah.
I also like the thing because I love Van.
keeps them alive.
I don't want them to kill for Van because Van doesn't want that. She will be
But that's
so
what I'm saying. We're
upset.
doomed. If you love the ship, you're doomed regardless because
Yeah.
whatever Taissa does is going to then ruin their relationship forever.
Yeah, which
I
is
don't know if I
So
ship them so much as I ship Van.
you want Van to be happy.
I
I mean,
do.
Like happy endings are looking very, very unlikely at this point for
Yeah.
people. But if there was anyone that I think could, of these girls besides Callie, who could like break the cycle, I think it would be Van.
Anna's and Lauren Ambrose is just so perfect, hot
She's
and gorgeous and stunning and emotional,
Yeah.
and I'm
I
fucking upset. I
I
love
have I
her.
have
Mixing up my metaphors.
I have loved her since Can't Hardly Wait when she was
Mhm.
the angsty girl. Like,
Obviously.
Yep.
I
I learned
mean,
dendrophiliac because of Lauren Ambrose. I learned what dendrophiliac was.
I'm thinking about watching 6 Feet Under just to like nurse my crush.
Yes. Michelle Trachtenberg too is in that series
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end.
Lauren Ambrose, I remember I gave up on 6 Feet Under somewhere in the middle, but then I came back for the end and sobbed at the finale. And I've always meant to go back and actually rewatch all of it because I just jumped to the finale, but the finale's good, made me cry. You didn't need the rest of the series to know. So we will go
is it
to
time?
Shauna. Yes, we're
Yes,
gonna.
that's right.
What up, girl?
Melissa, is that you?
That's me. Hey.
All right, what do we think
Good.
about her showing up with the hat? Because it is silly, but I get it, but like it is kind of silly.
I think we have to remember that like the Gen Pop can be dumb and like
Right,
probably
yeah.
wouldn't understand that it was Melissa without that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
was
also,
thinking. I was like, well, she takes it off and it's just there for a second and like it's like
I kind of think it's so funny. I mean,
yeah.
when you've memed a character to death that the character's literal name is Hat,
Yeah.
like this is Melissa Hat. Like,
Hat
I
girl.
mean, lean into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Why not?
actually I didn't mind that. I think it's kind of a troll move on the writers' part. The thing I will say this about the writers, with whatever they're doing, they seem to be well ahead of what they know the viewers will think they're doing.
Yeah.
I think they knew everyone was going to clock that Hilary Swank was going to be Melissa. So they
Yeah.
went out doing it, getting it out of the way. And then the real left turn was Melissa, which I think is where, again, it makes me really excited to see where the flashbacks are going to go when they get out of the woods.
I
Yeah.
think
It raises the possibilities of who else might have faked a death, you know?
totally. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
holding out hope. Aquila.
Aquila!
I'm praying. I'm praying. But I think like they are a step ahead, right? Because people were watching that and being like, "Oh, Melissa locked Shauna. Like, finally, somebody told her what she needed to hear." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, sure." Also, Melissa's fucking crazy. She stalked the daughter of the woman they cannibalized and then married her and has a fake name and a fake like that's in the blind babe. Like that is
That's its
crazily
own kind of
crazy.
violation there. Like
Like that
that's
to her
more violation in a lot of ways.
for her to, I think that's the irony of the normal boring life. It's not a normal life. You're crazy, cuckoo banana.
Everyone has to compromise.
You didn't just go into witness protection and move on with like a completely unrelated person. Like
So
you stuck from how old was she? We'll have to find out.
Oof.
That's weird. So I think you know what I mean, to keep that grain of salt. Like, yeah, she is. I do think she's right in a lot of what she's telling Shauna, being like, you blow up your life because you're bored. Totally. But like you too, girl.
Yeah.
well that's the
Totally,
thing.
girl.
And
You as well.
that is what I like
Set up a
about this.
life that could blow up at any given moment. All you need is some Shauna to come in and
Yeah,
light
why the
up.
fuck would
Yeah.
you send that to Shauna, as they call her on Twitter, and I love bisexual Stalin
Yeah.
Shipman. And like, whoa, what did you think bisexual Stalin was gonna do?
I mean,
Hey,
right? Like I feel like I don't understand the thing I like about this show, and as we mentioned earlier, you don't need to moralize the characters because I do like the show does this often where both are right. And both Shauna is correct when she's like, this isn't normal. You are lying. Like your life you're leading is a full lie. That's not a normal life.
Mhm.
But then also Melissa is right about I think you're right too, Liv, when she's like, you want your life to blow up because you have fun watching the fire. And I like that's the most correct thing I feel like someone has said directly to Shauna about Shauna in the entire series. So I did like that. But I like that Shauna was also right when she was like, yeah, and you're not fucking normal either. So fuck you.
And again, the your life burn thing that predates the woods because
Yeah.
she clocked her for sleeping with Huff behind Jackie's back.
Yeah.
like that's just you, babe.
Yeah, this has always been you.
I will say though, I don't love the faked her own death. Like we breeze by that when she's like, yeah, if you just leave a suicide note, they don't look for a body. And I was like,
Yeah, they
I'm
do.
waiting to see what the flashbacks do with that, because again, she also alludes to Shauna scaring the shit out of her
yes.
afterwards. So
Yeah, when she's like,
some
I
kind
wasn't
of mind games.
like what she said, one of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, was that Shauna being like, you're a loose end?
Yes.
Like, you know,
She was
and
scared of her.
Brent.
I'm
Like,
one.
she wasn't at the Shipman Sadecki wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
the thing that's been bothering me, the only like tiny thing that's been bothering me is that I hate when the survivors in the present day talk about something and they're not using a noun. And they're doing that on purpose for storytelling reasons so that we can be
the others.
Yeah, so we can be like ambiguous, but I'm like, people don't talk like this. Like, use a fucking noun, say the thing. Like, they dance around it. They'll be like, and the people that were left. And like, I don't know. I feel like they would say, well, the 8 of us that survived. They would say the like,
Yeah.
And when they like in the car, when Shauna says like, oh, well, Melissa and someone else are dead. I just like, I don't know. I feel like they so often don't say a noun, but then later in a season episode, they'll be like, well, we're the only people that survived. And then we add 2 more people. And then we add
I
another
feel
person.
like they've been talking about that they never actually said 8. And like you purposely can't see in the season 2 opener, like how many people there are, how many individual faces there are. Like I think that assumed that because of a lot of context, but that they're really trying to work. I'm wondering if it's going to now be like there's just 2 different rescues.
That's what, because I'm not sure Joel McHale's dead, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a wilderness guy. Who knows? Maybe he took off with their food or something.
Who's old Joel McHale?
Yeah. I'd be fine with just old Joel
Let's
McHale,
cast
to be honest.
extra adult.
Like add some prosthetic skin sags to him. Let's do
it.
Put him in those bad old makeups. Yeah, I could see that. I actually was like, Travis and Akilah, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Go, right? Like fucking go.
I was like all about that.
Send a rescue party. I wouldn't leave them there, but like go. I don't know. And everyone else is crazy. Like,
and I feel like Travis felt like he owed that to Akilah, kind of, which I liked. Where he was like, I did get you drugged all those times, so let me at least try to save you, dude.
Yeah. So Shauna and Melissa have like a long discussion. I'm torn whether I think Shauna is being crazy or something is being done to her. Rob, I know you kind of do think something is still being done to her,
I think
right?
it's both. I think Shauna was wrong about the specifics, but I don't think her family are out of the woods, which again, see what I did there? Which again makes me think, who else is alive?
I mean, it's crazy cuckoo banana for Melissa Hatt to have sent that tape. So I almost feel like, who made you send that tape? Or like, what is like you don't do that unless you want your life to blow up. Why bisexual Stalin? Don't involve her in your shit.
Yeah.
You don't want people to know that like you have this creepy life. Like, is she actually being manipulated by her wife? Who knows? Like, that actress is now credited. Are we gonna like see more of what happened there? I think we're gonna have to find out more of obviously like what happened on the team timeline. And like I really wonder, is season 4 gonna be mostly like them back?
I could see.
Also, I think it's important to remember they're not getting out. We're up. They're what, in like October, November out in the woods, 97. I don't think they got rescued until December, January 2018 or 1998. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So they just ate Coach Steve, who is, let's say, he was definitely probably a hardier body than Javi, or, which is, I don't mean, not to be flip.
No, but he's like,
they have all
my
the
Shayla
and the
my
bunnies.
Jackie.
They have the goats, they have the bunnies. What happens that we still have that pit girl in the beginning of the series?
But the thing is, that's process. That's dangerous.
But also, is there a separate party that sabotage, like with Joel McHale, like all these new elements?
True.
There are a million different factors. I think this show is really, and again, I do think the show ultimately knows what it's doing. Knows what its end game is. They're doing a really good job, again, at hedging their bets and writing in such a way that nothing will feel wasted or retconned in a way, which I think that's frustrating. But I also think when you're a show that's trying to pad out like a multi-season deal,
right,
kind of
Have to
keep the journey a little ambiguous.
I do think, yeah. I like that, like, now we all thought it was going to be Mari had to be Pit Girl, and now we have another option of who this is. I do think it's like, it's interesting because, like, I was totally being like pure cannibalistic fun, but now you're right. Who knows? Maybe that also is necessary again.
Honestly, the only reason
food. We don't know.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that we literally saw Murati as young Misty at the end of that flashback, there was no reason to believe that couldn't have been, are we building to that?
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, but you see Misty smile, which makes me feel like, okay, this is like which then and if we've gotten to the point that we're literally setting like a hunt in that way, that's torture it. Like we got a pit of spikes that we're trying to fuck with people with. That is also a reason of like collective quiet. I don't know. Like how fucking bad did it get?
Yeah. Well, also, memory serves, they've already revealed more survivors than were participating in that tableau in the flashback. So again, did they leave in chunks? Did the other group come back and say, grab everybody and say, no, you're coming back with us? Like,
yeah, like what's Shauna gonna do? Take everybody at gunpoint right now and be like, you can't leave.
I mean, she will.
Bisexual Stalin. A great read.
So because I hate Shauna so much, I was like, I want Melissa to kick every inch of her fucking ass. Like I just Shauna is like, and I mean, there was a tweet, I forget who tweeted it, but it was like, she's Walter White for girls. Should have said girls and queers, but like, that's what she is. And I feel like Shauna needs a comeuppance, and she keeps dodging and dodging and dodging. And I want her to get like, I was so glad when she headbutted her and like maybe broke her nose, and I was like, good, someone got a good lick in with Shauna once. Because like Shauna is like a mob boss and I hate her.
I mean, she is. And it's also like, she doesn't have any friends really at all.
Other
like
than these women.
I was thinking back though about like how we have lost the plot completely with like the Ty Shauna friendship that like really did exist on season 1, both teen and adult. And like Misty even calling out on the phone, like, like your friend is dying, and you let like even Misty, who's batshit cuckoo but in her, is like, you know, do you care even a little bit? And at the end of the day, she doesn't. She's like, she's like, I can't just call Van directly. I can't just call Van directly on the phone. Taisa put me on with her. Like she doesn't really care. She cares
Misty,
more
come watch my kid.
Yeah.
Get away from me afterwards.
Yeah, and then don't speak to me. And also, I'm mad at you for watching her wrong.
Yeah.
Like I just like what it is that where it's like, what is driving you? No friends. You hate your family. What is?
You hate
it's
everything?
Just the control.
Yeah.
It's just to like, feel that power again.
There's a subtle metaphor at play here about the horrors of peaking in high school.
So real.
The idea that she, like, they even touched on it a little with Lottie's phantom therapy sessions in season 2, where that Spectre said to her, that was the time in your lives that you girls ever felt completely free and in control of your own destiny.
Yeah. I forgot about that, Rob. So we end the end of the Shauna thing is kind of like the end of the episode. Everyone was talking about the ending being so wild. I want you all to know. And I hate when people are like, oh, that wasn't nothing. But I was expecting, so because I kept seeing, oh my God, that thing. Oh my God, there's more survivors. Oh my God, Jackie. I was like, oh, are we going to get a reveal that Jackie's alive and everything has been a delusion? Like, that's what I thought. We were like, Jackie got out somehow. And she was like,
and that would be my dream. I love you, Jackie. I hope
not if it came at the cost of Van, though.
No, but I would love if Jackie went and had like a lesbian college experience and is like just living her best life.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar as adult Jackie would work. I feel like they like got
Sarah Michelle Gellar should have been Laura Lee, but they blew her up.
Oh my God, I miss Laura Lee too.
No, me too. This never would have happened. Laura Lee had to die because it wouldn't have happened.
She wouldn't have
happened.
Laura Lee was like, that death happened. At least I think they were trying to be like, that's your real death.
Yeah.
Like that bitch blew up.
That was it was Hope dying is what it was.
So she ends with fucking biting off some of Hilary Swank's arm and telling her she has to eat it.
Or she's going to tell her wife everything. And then the Slater Kinney guitar, and I screamed. I had the windows open and I literally screamed.
It's so good.
Because I don't know how familiar y'all are with Slater Kinney lore. The significance of Dig Me Out, that album a lot of that album was written in the wake of Carrie and Corin breaking up.
Know that.
Like One More Hour is very much about their last interaction before officially no longer being a couple.
Wow.
So it's funny
Yummy.
that it started like this in this dynamic. Me out.
Whoops,
Like,
are Carrie and Corey? I'm assuming those are members of Flavor
Carrie
Kitty.
is like
Yeah.
the one of, and you know who Carrie is because you've seen Portlandia.
Yeah.
That's
and
Carrie.
Oh, right,
the
right.
whale. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wait, isn't it? I thought
That's Carrie.
I thought Jenny Lewis was in Slater Kinney.
No, that's Rilo Kiley.
Rilo Kiley. Oh, damn it. I'm mixing up my. Right. Okay. Makes more sense. now.
Really quick, that just struck on me about what you said about peaking in high school. Also tracks with her being like, "Are you still in love with me?"
Yeah.
Yes. Because, like
and her being like,
No.
no.
Her being like, "No." Also, I never was, and I do believe it because I don't
Yes.
think she ever loved her.
Young Melissa in the flashback is seeing that she ain't shit as a partner.
Oh, I mean, if we want to get back into the teen timeline again, bisexual Stalin, the fucking later ass like, stop being a bitch. Like a Shauna Shipman core is
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh, baby,
Like-
I knew you were okay.
Oh, baby, I'm still thinking about killing him for her.
It was so gross.
Like,
Tony
shut
Soprano.
up.
It was
I was-
Tony Soprano.
yes, I was like, Melissa, don't fall for this manipulative bullshit. Like,
But you see, I did like because you see Melissa get all excited about like college and all the things she's gonna do, and like Shauna has nothing. Shauna's like, I don't want to go. Fuck.
Well, what are moths? I feel like is that the first time we've seen the moths in like a hallucination or like a
I remember them being all over the promos, but I don't know if we've seen them.
It's
Yeah.
true. What the fuck did moth symbolize?
I will say
Eating.
I was like, are those Yellowjackets or moths? Like,
Yeah.
well, that's where I was.
attracted to fire.
Oh.
But the other thing about Shauna ripping off her arm, I do love they foreshadowed that in the very first episode when she bit Mari.
So true.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
so
that's
right.
that's her go-to move when she wants to fight
Oh, she's a
out of
biter.
somebody.
Those were always the
mean,
bad kids.
Do you think they're gonna make like I was like if Melissa's smart, she'll pull her old move while she's being
I was
under
waiting for a
Shauna.
Lady in the Tramp moment.
But I was like, well, under Shauna, the last time she's had a knife to your throat, it worked.
It worked, yeah. I was like, shit, is she gonna, when she broke her arm, I was like, or seemed like she broke her arm, I was like, did they get Hillary Swank for one episode? They gonna kill her?
I did think it was kind of crazy for her to say, like, oh, you really are insane. I was like, you didn't know?
Like, fucking duh.
Like that was, I think, why people were like thinking it wasn't Melissa. Because people were like, well, Melissa Hatt knows that Shauna is insane.
Like, I'm surprised she tried to make a move on her, honestly. Like
I do
it's
think
not
maybe
the way
there's
to come at Shauna.
Yeah.
no. So I was like a little confused in that I'm just like, but then you think about like sweet Melissa in a way, like leaving the hut, trying to like wave at time. She's such a dork. Like,
Yeah.
She is, yeah.
she's such a, which my favorite mean lesbians throw back to when they're like, yeah, hi, look, man, I love you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I think maybe
like,
they
I know
just
we
also
both eat
realized
puss,
the relationship. They probably
like-
just also realized this isn't real lesbianism.
no, they're like, I know you think that we're this, but like,
This is gay for the stay. This is prison. No.
exactly. Because although I think it's like clearly Melissa is a lesbian, so maybe, and
Yeah.
I'm sure Van could clock of like that fuck ass hat and was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's like, but I'm a lesbian and you a loser. And just that
I
was,
chase actual You're chasing crazy girls.
you're choosing fucking bisexual Stalin, and
Yeah,
I don't
there
want to
you
hear
go.
it.
You want to hook up with Jeffrey Dahmer. I do not.
I don't. I want my beautiful queen who's
At
gonna
least
break
my
up for
crazy
me.
still has sex with me when she snaps.
At least my crazy bitch snaps. We have the queen.
She stays at the hospital bed with me.
So,
Actually, my wife and her alter ego are obsessed with me. So,
so
I
yeah. My wife and her alter ego. So Misty wakes up in the flashback and they just left her. They really don't care about Misty. I was like, I feel so bad because she's like yelling for them, and it's like the next day doesn't have her glasses. Like,
and she's like, oh, and I found them. Akila.
Yeah.
Like, you bitches would die without her.
and
From
they
the
didn't.
beginning.
I feel like they were just like, who? Oh, Misty wasn't here. Huh? Weird. Like,
Do you think they're ever gonna find out about Misty in the box?
I was wondering that. I feel like
Because I'm
she'd
like,
be dead if it were true. If
that
they
gives me
did.
more understanding of them being such in the adult timeline.
Yes. Yes.
If that was like revealed at some point and they're like, you fuck ass crazy person, like this could
That's
have
what
been
I wonder.
avoided.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think we've fully seen Misty reckon with it outside of like the spare moment when she accidentally killed Kristen, or when she had that brief moment where she was hearing the plane noise. Steve died, where she's trying to snap herself out of it. Like, I don't think
she's
she
still.
has fully reckoned with the fact that she's the reason this all happened.
Well, I mean, I said Van was a stunted adult. Misty also is a stunted adult. Misty's just better at like,
Having
I
a
don't,
day job.
yeah, yeah.
She had to learn the ways of the world younger because she had no friends. So she had to learn to take herself and
Yeah.
learn all this stuff.
Yeah, and like I think that's why she is both kind of a child, but also like the most helpful and like useful of all of them because she knows how to navigate. And like Misty would have never not deleted that message from her recently deleted messages like Shauna didn't. Like Shauna not doing it makes sense. She might not know all that, but Misty would have known how to clear your garbage like immediately, known how to get rid of it. Like
Totally.
I still think giving that envelope and tape to Misty in the beginning when they had the sleepover would have saved Callie a lot of trouble.
it really would have.
I feel like I
Did not
just
play
look
that
at
right.
like when I have reservations and why I can't fully love Misty, it's because I come back to the box, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, you fucking crazy person.
That's fair.
Like, but like you bitches don't know that.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
are you being such haters? Like
Yeah.
because she's not cool? We're past that.
Right, like we've eaten people. That was like 10 lanes
She
ago.
baked a
Like,
cookie with "I want my fire" spelled out on it. That is a friend.
That is a fucking friend.
That is
Like
a real
that's
one right there.
because I'm like, if you don't know that, I don't like you. Why are you judging?
Yeah.
right, like that.
I have information you don't.
Yeah.
Liv, I've said that a few times because I'm always like, I don't like how mean they are to Misty, but if they know about the black box, I can understand them being like, I fucking hate you.
I feel like it would be, I don't think Misty would be around if they knew about the box. At the
Mm.
very least, Shauna would have brought it up in that confrontation
And
in
killed
the
her.
van. Like a big,
killed her.
a big thing.
Yeah.
You're someone that wrecked the black box.
Shauna would have eaten her ass, like
Yeah.
I
literally.
wonder if Misty now, as we're like theorizing, put some kind of fail-safe thing because she's so smart like this, where she was like, if you kill me, this will self-trigger and
I could
everyone will
see
know
that.
what you've done.
Yeah.
I could totally
She-
like,
Citizen's
have
detective,
orchestrated-
baby. She's got a safe deposit box.
Like she
Yeah.
has something where she's, yeah, try me, Shipman.
yeah.
I will outsmart you. You will out crazy me, but I will
But-
outsmart you.
Yes.
Caligula will avenge me.
Yeah, I could totally see that. It's like if I do go missing, this thing gets released, and well, then everyone knows about you.
Yeah.
So Misty goes back. She finds Travis and Aquila and Joel McHale are on their way out. I had been wondering about this because I read it this way when it first happened, and then I was like, oh, I read it incorrectly. Travis admits to Aquila that he just put it on her. He was like,
Yeah.
no one told me you were the, like, I just said you because I didn't want Lottie to bother me anymore. And that was how I read it when when it happened. But then I was like, oh no, I was wrong. He did see, but nope, he didn't.
I thought that was so proof of him being like, get out. Like, you know, when people are like, I'm gonna, I'll tell the old dog, leave. I
Yeah.
don't want you anyway. Like, it
True.
was almost, I one of those, I think, where he's like, it's not real. Like, like it's really him trying to be like, him reckoning with the fact of like,
Himself, yeah.
this is real. Like, we're going to go.
And if we leave together, we back and get all the other people that have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker and grab them and drag them out.
And him being like, I know maybe I can convince you if I can't convince everybody else. Like, you and I have a real chance at.
Because we were both used by Lottie.
Right.
Yeah, because Liz really, really wanted to just be I mean, he could like shoot her in the foot and run away with Joel McHale. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. He could ditch her somehow and like be like, go back, get them, and leave.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
smart, but like he has a gun.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah.
he has some leeway, right? Like he could. I think he was like reckoning a little with his own guilt because clearly we see him upset over
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like dealing with that choice, like that it was a super easy one for him, but he was still didn't want to go back with Lottie, so he let it continue happening. But I find it interesting. I feel like he was like really motivated that even though it's like leaving Nat, all these he was have the chance.
Yeah.
And I'll take it.
And I do think like that plan does make sense, right? Like, well, let's just stay with this guy. we will tell people that there are more survivors. We got out, but like, hey, this is where you need to search. And I feel like that makes sense. I don't know, right?
My live tweeting was being like, I hope they go.
Right.
Like
yeah.
in the moment, I was like, I would not
I
have
was
any
into
guilt.
it as like a subplot, like a loose thread to take us into the next season, like they actually leave them.
Yeah. Like
I
That
was
still
all
might
about
happen.
it.
We don't know yet.
Like, who knows? Maybe they'll, yeah. And maybe the randoms, you know, the Brit or whoever the fuck, like,
right.
they'll go and like, who knows?
Also, do they just keep adding random anonymous girls in the past?
I think it's what and Robin are the two names of them. They're the ones who
There's
like
one
we
other
don't
girl
know.
with long
There's,
dark hair who's not Jen or Mari.
I think I think
Yeah.
that's Brit or Robin. I think there's like those two. Like these are who?
I mean,
Melissa had only just started talking this year, so.
And I mean,
I think also why I'm like, if we're killing off Van to like make room on the adult for Hilary Swank, I'm like, I love like I will like it, whatever, but I am just you haven't built Melissa Hat the way you think you have. Even with what you've given Hat this season, it's still
Melissa
not that much.
Hat.
It's actually a testament to Jenna Burgess, I think, doing a good job being like a likable loser lesbian that like makes really good facial. No, I'm not kidding though. Like, makes good facial expressions where like I'm interested more than I even would be like.
Yeah, like what else am I? Her vibe is, what else am I going to do right now? I need something.
Like, but they like we're really getting much on her to like get our meat, you know, our sink
Yeah.
our teeth into the flesh of the story. Like, we don't know that much about her, so it's a testament to that. I like seeing her, and that I think has like created a vibe that's recognizable with her fuck ass hat.
Oh,
that was
sure.
probably her, honestly, being like, I'm gonna wear this hat every day of season 2, and then the fandom running with Melissa Hat, and now it's the show.
Her
And
being like,
Hilary
what if I
Swank's
put a
fuck.
silly hat on?
Speaking of the young cast, though, I do want to point out, it really struck me this episode. Courtney E has gotten really good at playing Lottie as who she's going to become.
Oh,
like her whole
this was
speech about not being able to go back. I was hearing Simone Kessel say that in my head. Like
she ate, which is funny in this
Yeah.
show. Ate down. She was so commanding on screen. I felt like I was pausing, like, and it's sad because you see her pause, like things won't be like I won't be well, and like immediately I see the edits getting made of her with
Yeah.
she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
the
then
thing
like
is, she's very scary. Also, I like how they did a good job last year of saying Lottie is no villain. This isn't malevolence. This is mental illness and trauma. She's doing her best to make meaning out of this, as that everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And she has that allure to her because there is that kind of like, she's a true for whatever the crazy is. Like,
and she would have stayed alone, but you like see her face like light up. She was doing so well, I think, when, and it's the same as you said, like Simone Kessel face when we're agreeing with her too, and like the Bonner timeline, and she gets like a little like validation, and
I'm not crazy. Yeah,
I'm not crazy.
Not just me. Yeah.
I went, but I'm like, oh, not. And well, I ask you guys this on that scene. So if we're getting like to tie Shauna and Lottie, have you that in comparison to like the drawing that had been made where it was like the 3 people and then like above from the earlier episode?
I don't even remember that. I don't even remember that. God.
I'll find.
That also reminds me, because they hinted at this in season 2 too, and because we haven't gotten another card draw yet. What's the penalty for refusing to draw?
Wait, what are we talking? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Because we're obviously building up to another hunt, because we get it on the season, right?
Yeah.
But last season, when they did the hunt on Lottie's comp to try and quiet the spirits,
okay, right.
Ty hesitated, and Lottie very firmly said, "You remember what the penalty is for not drawing, right?"
And Travis drew that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. All right.
So people thinking like, does that then? But someone was saying like that it's them praying to Jackie, and like I don't know that's like, who knows, but I was like, I wonder if what this lineup of you 3 is going to build to. Like, so there's clearly.
Before we get there though, I just got to point out, I love that fans question to Hannah. They're all like, and she's like, "Can Mulder and Scully get together?" I thought that was like,
that's my girl. That's my
so
boyfriend.
Cute.
And it's even sadder when you realize by that point they hadn't gotten.
They hadn't.
We're still like another year or 2 out from that happening.
That's fucked.
So all that time out there still happened.
Liv, that would be you with Buffy. Like,
oh my god, I'd be like, is Faith gay? Did Faith come back?
Did they get back together? Well, yeah, but then they killed her.
Um,
No.
so the lady Hannah, I keep being like, she seems too calm, but I think it's just like she's fucking terrified, right? Like she's just,
But
Trying
I
to be
kind of
smart.
gave her like a little bit smarter than I originally thought
yes,
because she knew like I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna play ball.
Yeah.
Because like hiding
you
here, I'm
have
gonna
to.
die.
Yeah.
I've got
I
first aid. I can help you.
like I think she has a little
Yeah.
I would play non-threatening too. Fuck. Like you're either playing Joel McHale misogynistic dick or you're playing the
Yeah. And like you have to, otherwise they're killing you, right? Like you know that they'll kill you.
I would try to appear as fucking harmless as possible,
Yeah.
but as useful as possible. Like I can
Yes.
have first aid, I can
Like at
understand
least
how to
buy
like
yourself some time to like strategize and
Yeah.
cooperate.
like
So
and not
so
lying. Like I can lead you there, fuck it up, and then get shot when they're mad.
Yeah.
right, right. So we get I hate Shauna. I just hate Shauna so much, especially young Shauna, because she is so fucking mean to Hannah when she's like, "Oh, and you just gave up on looking for us," and it's like she is
Yeah,
not.
Hannah specifically.
Like,
It's also like your friend just husband basically like right in front
Yeah.
of her, so maybe give her a minute. Like
yeah,
you didn't even
like
offer her any Coach Steve,
they
like it's Coach Scott.
they give Hannah no grace. It's just
Yeah.
like,
They're like, go
well,
bury your friend.
yeah, like
Yeah.
when they're like, well, now you have to bury him. It's like, why do they have to? You killed him. Like,
Yeah.
it's Shauna. Hannah asked Shauna, like, are you like the captain? Which is just so like, I don't know. I was like very like charmed by that. And like
Yeah.
Shauna is just like mad, right? Like Shauna is just, and the thing I have to remind myself is they all have reason to be that mad. Like
Yeah.
they all do, but Shauna's kind of the only one that makes it all of their problem.
Shauna's already lost more than any of them out
Yeah.
there too. That's the other wrinkle. Shauna actually has suffered the most.
Oh my God.
Yeah, to be like, I went through all that and no one's even coming for us, like,
Yeah.
is a crazy realization. And I do think, as I kind of mentioned before, as we lead into like everybody packing up or, whatever the idea is, like, Anna, I think, is starting to grapple with really like the what she kind of knows, but it's being really in her face in the actual like face going home. You are gonna like it, and we see it in the flashback, like Jackie, that you maybe have not really seen for like 6 months, as you've become your own queen version with your little girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you are the best friend of the girl of Jackie. Like again, like when you're back there, like that
Yeah.
reality comes back in full force. Like you go back to best friend role. Like you're gonna be like interviewed as your best friend died. Like,
Oh, and now
you
you're
know,
sleeping with her husband, with her boyfriend after he died out there. How gross!
like
Yeah.
you're gonna like that part is gonna come back and like I don't know, I guess we'll see why she never tried to go to Brad thing and
Hmm.
like obviously it's like we get back there, but I think she's really like it's hitting her in the head of like who am I upon
Yeah.
and do I
And she doesn't even
care?
have her baby, which I would imagine would have been an impetus to go
Right.
back. Plus, all the rage of Natalie kind of got to be like, for lack of Obama, oh wait, everything's a party, after Shauna had lost her baby. And now we have gardens, now we have animals. Like
Mm-hmm.
my best friend and baby are dead, but now we're making a go of it. Like,
And Van's up there telling a fuck ass story.
yeah.
I don't love that Aquila kind of like turns on them pretty quickly on Travis and I like and I don't it's not like I like him, but I'm like, why are they putting their guns on this guy? Like he's the one that was gonna lead them out. Like just fucking keep going. I don't know. And I felt like even with the girls all getting there, I was like, okay, everyone just keep moving with this guy. Like, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
It's hard because like I'm honestly like would be more on the Van side. Like, dude, we're going home. Like let's like none of
Yeah.
this fucking matters. Like really none of this matters. Let's get out of here and deal with it then. But I do fully like look at like Thaisa in her life that's so like organized and stuff. I do understand beyond the other Ty is present, like to just walk out and go. Like maybe you talk about it on the walk, but like
Yeah.
there does need to be some discussion. Like
I mean, there's also, again, it there's like, I would imagine people that have served time in prison and stuff. There's a thing like, how do you get back into not living like this? Like the trauma of it, you like, I can't imagine like not having much to go back to in the with and having lost so much and then being like, well, now what the hell am I going to do? Like,
I mean, it's something to just really like that. I don't think that I'll like I don't care. Like I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing rescue. But I do understand where them are like, no, I'm seeing what is ahead of me and it's not something that I want.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, this is where the supernatural ties
so
continue.
We get a bunch of they're gonna go home, they're packing. I do like Supergrass's Supergrass is all right playing while they're burying a body, and it's like, oh, like cheery music, and then she sees a Slurpee, and it's almost
Slurpee.
The toilet paper is what got me, because that is something that never even dawned on me how like much miss that.
I think about that. Maddie made a funny TikTok where she's like reading the script and it's their like glimpse of home, like, oh, somebody gets Slurpee, somebody gets a warm. Oh, what do I have to do? Paper. I have to rub my ass with toilet paper.
But that is also that Misty would, Misty, the thinker, the logical person, she would want the toilet paper.
Of course, and it was just Samantha made me laugh, who plays Misty. That's the actress, but she made me laugh. She was like,
I do love that, and that honestly, that's all I think about in like horror movies and action movies is like, where's everyone going to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like, what if I have to go to the bathroom right now? Like, so we get all the like little hallucinations. Van and Ty have their talk, which we kind of talked about already, which Van had explicitly said earlier in this season. She was like, you were the one that didn't stay with me because you felt we couldn't be dating once we got back.
The veneer of respectability.
Yep. And like, and my
quoting my lines. I shut up now.
So Melissa and Shauna have their argument, blah, blah, blah.
Wait. But what did you think about in my Van thing where you see the smile, the man with no eyes?
So I was like, I hope that doesn't mean she's gonna try to kill her.
No, I mean like in the team.
Yeah, I was like, I hope she doesn't try to kill Van and that causes a bigger rift with them, like, and fail. But like, because we always see the man with no, I mean, we saw the man with no eyes when they kissed in the present day in the beginning of the season. So I'm not sure what he, other than like an ominous thing, I don't know what he like is like
fully represents. Yeah. I actually really struggled too, beyond it being like, you have to truly see yourself. Like, you think that, you know, I mean, she goes on and has another wife. Like, I don't think it's even like the lesbianism up hiding from in the end. It is the veneer of respectability. It is the like being in touch with your true self or the scary parts of you that have existed since you were a child.
Someone who sees like, the worst loves you anyway can be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if that's, but you know, I mean, she sees it when, I'm still confused about that scene when they are watching TV, go to the old ice cream shop, and then they see, that was like a couple episodes back, and then they see the deer, whatever. Wolf, I still don't really get what happened there.
I actually, with that, because it's followed later by that really creepy moment in the basement when real Ty somehow manages to get Van via
we get the Stranger Things call.
but that makes me wonder on the other Dark Ty, I don't know if you should even call her Dark Ty, other Ty, was she doing something similar by projecting No Eyes Man on the screen to Van? Like that, like there's still hints of supernatural, but I'm not even that's in the woods, because again, this is stuff Ty was dealing with beforehand. So
that's why I'm like with you. There's loss of loose ends. Like when if I actually pause for a second and think back to the questions I've had, because we've had just happened in the last few episodes, but like that, I'm like I consider caught up on Ty Van. I don't understand what I like really couldn't fully get where that was going beyond that. They go to the what like where was that leading? And it's like, okay, if she's able to show Van, but then people were like, or is Van just really waking up to the fact that she didn't want to see that it was other Ty, but that phone call was her imagining?
Or is Van hallucinating because of her cancer? Because she had that moment with other Ty in the hospital. Like there's a lot of different. Again, they're really good at tossing out feasible explanations.
So I'm very confused, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. We'll obviously that evil fucking smile scared me. I was like,
with the dirt.
ugh. And then
So
she
so what? Let's move on. We get the Melissa Shauna stuff. Nat goes to the crash site. So Nat at the crash site, I was positive I saw something like 5 different times. I was like, oh, there's something. Oh, there. But like it was all just like because the dark is like one of the few things that scares me, and I kept being like, because she heard something, right? Like
Mhm.
I mean,
she,
that was just so depressing considering her death, obviously. Like,
I
having her be
know.
like, I'm leaving. Like she's so fantastic, by the way. I
Yeah,
mean, Sophie is
Yeah.
the best, but
yeah,
like that scene, that's gonna come back
yeah.
100%.
I think
We're gonna
so.
see that again.
Yeah.
Something with that.
Um, we
But I
get
don't know. I
we
don't do
we
what
we I don't yeah. We get to the end of everyone's ready to leave. Nat and Travis point their guns. I hate that they have to point their guns at Cody and Hannah all the time. I'm like, leave Hannah alone. She's
Wait a minute,
like,
Shauna.
yeah. Cody, sure, I get it. They say not to pull anything. Hannah's like, we want to get home too. Lottie says she's not going. I want you all to know. So, like, my Puerto Rican mother would talk to the screen a lot. She loved yelling at the screen. I did not. This show makes me yell at the screen so much. I was like, good, fucking leave her. Leave Lottie. Just leave her. Let be like, okay, bye. And then when Shauna's like, I'm not going either, it's like, great. I'm glad you're not going. Goodbye. Stay blessed. We're all
Yeah.
going. Like, I was like, this shouldn't be a discussion. It should be, all right, bye. Like,
why
that
do they
should
keep
be the
turning
discussion.
around?
Right, right.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
I just for Natalie to get the Lottie and the has everyone gone fucking insane?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. Someone cut together with a video of Juliette Lewis where she's like screaming that in her car thing,
Yeah.
and she sounds exactly like her. So just on more of the fact of like
Save
the
us,
teens really,
Britney Spears.
but like the exactly the teens playing into their adult
Mhm.
um counterparts more, like the mannerisms. That it was hilariously Juliette. It was so good. Like I was like,
Yeah,
that is
Yeah.
not as Juliette really coming like
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah,
perfect.
I I just like, I mean, I get why Van would be like, Ty, what are you talking about? But the rest of the, I'm like, that's not your problem, Nat. Just keep going.
Yeah.
That was sad, where she like dropped her bag, but was like, pick up your bag, because you know she's gonna like listen to her, and
I
He's like,
know.
come on, put it up, pick it up.
Because I
like she
feel
was
like
begging.
these are the four strongest personalities, or three of them that said they're staying, and Nat. So I feel like I want it to, I almost want it to be like some get out. But we also know the Hannah and Joel McHale at least publicly don't get out
Have you seen the episode 9 clip? Because they didn't release a promo, they released like a one
where
minute
they're
clip from,
arguing. Yeah.
yeah. Did you see?
I
Mhm.
haven't. Yeah.
It's basically just it's a continuation of
Yeah.
this
I
episode scene, but it's like Natalie, you don't get to be the boss of everybody, like Shauna, and Shauna saying like, well, I do, and they're gonna, and fucking Kodiak being like, okay, well, I'm leaving, bye,
yeah.
and her being like, taking the gun from Nat and being like, no, you're not. And being like, oh, did your boyfriend teach you? Or something where he says something like, oh, do you even know how to use that thing? And she's like, my boyfriend taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny of Shauna. Um, but so I'm wondering how that's gonna progress. And
Because
at
that
a lot of ends, I
seemed
am like, just walk away, leave
right.
them, let Ty and Van fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else? Walk away.
I feel like, because again, the same thing we said about Travis and Aquila, it's like, just go and you could be like, yeah, there's some people there. Go look for
Yeah.
them. They might not want to come out. But I would go. There's no part of me that wouldn't go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just, and it's trying to point out their differences, like in Lottie. Nat, like, what home do you have to go back to? I don't even think that's trying to be mean. I think she's really being like,
yeah.
like that's how she feels. Like, what home is there that's not like this is my home, whatever.
World forgot
And
about us. Like,
Nat, and you get the Nat Van, who both don't really have homes, great homes to go back to. Probably, arguably, some of the worst parent wise. And they're like, I just think they've already been so beat down before this that
mhm.
they're like, I don't care. Like, I can.
Anything but this.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is crazy. I can make do with whatever parents I have or something,
Mhm.
versus like these ones who've had the more respectable lives up into the crash.
Yeah,
funny enough, have like
that's true.
such fear,
Secrets.
such terror in going home.
I hadn't even thought about that, but that's true. Yeah. Um, yeah, I was like, I just want everyone to keep going. Like
Mhm.
I was yelling, go, keep going at the screen, this like whole argument. Um,
I mean, it's a horror because we know that we know at least Misty's not. It's just like that's the one thing hard when you do know where things are gonna go to some degree.
yeah,
Like, do you think that that takes away the weight of the moment of something like this?
a little bit, yeah.
I think it actually made the fantasy moments with the toilet paper and the sadder, just because they're still going to be out there a bit. Like
That's real.
there's
I
a
think
false hope here.
you've made me feel better about it in that there are so many options that this can
Yeah,
go. That like that also helps to remember, but at least for like Misty,
Yeah.
no toilet paper yet, girl.
yeah.
All right.
She has no friends. Just give her some plot.
Give her some toilet
Like,
paper.
Someone send the Charmin bear as a
Yeah, I was gonna
hallucination
yeah.
next.
say, let those bears find her and give her the toilet paper. Well, now that we are at the end, here's a little video of Zach saying what he thought about the episode, since he is MIA from moving and going through all that, but he wanted to chime in.
Okay, so I just finished the new Yellowjackets episode, so this is my little piece here since I'm not going to be in the episode. Callie, I guess we'll start with Callie. She's got her mama's crazy and her daddy's hard, and so she is playing the long game. I feel like for a long time now she has been playing the long game, and she has for a long time now wanted Shauna out of their lives. So she has a big plan to take Shauna down, which I fucking love. I'm obsessed with that. Callie, I am loving you. Everybody needs to realize that Misty is just the better friend. Ty, Van, Shauna, everybody. Nat from the heavens. Misty was the only friend amongst you, and we'll just forget about the black box. I knew it. I knew it. Walter's up to something. Where the fuck is he? Hillary Swank is finally fucking here. Hillary Swank, the queen that you are. I don't care about any of the criticism that's online right now. The backwards hat, the fact that she doesn't look like the younger Melissa or act like the younger Melissa, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care. She's here. She's Melissa. And we are gonna deal with it and love it. Shauna, please let us leave the forest. Please, we need to get out of here. And speaking of Shauna, in the words of the great Matty Perez from Euphoria, this bitch needs to be put down.
And Liv, what is something you think or want to happen by the end of the season?
Lesbian cannibalism. Yeah, no, I do want to see what other Ty does to try to keep Van alive.
All right, Rob.
I'm interested. I hope it's, and I really want to know what's going on with if that has anything to do with Lottie.
All right.
Like I need that door closed before the season ends.
All right,
I need to
Rob.
know what happened there.
Well, namely, I definitely want to know what Lottie was doing before she. I think that her big day in New York leaves a lot of time to kill. I also, again, I mentioned that this show has a lot of DNA with Lost, and I think this season finally proved that it had juice that Lost had. Like I kind of feel like
Yeah.
Hannah and Cody were kind of like the not pennies bird watchers, But I would like to see Lost also gave a glimpse of the future of what that end game could look like. I would like to, again, they've set up a lot of options. I would like this season to at least point us towards the horizon, and have some glimmer of what we're building towards. Because again, the present, the past is ultimately going to go to a degree. We need to know what the end game in the present timeline is going to be.
Fair. Yeah, I want to see who killed Lottie, because I don't think Lottie, because like that wasn't even a big staircase. That was like 5 steps, right?
Did
like,
you all catch that was the stairway from the vision she had in the very first season when she's walking up
Yes,
with
candles
and everything? She saw this moment.
Who did?
Back,
Lottie.
one of her first hallucinations out in the woods. She's walking up that staircase, which is lined with the candles. It's like a nightmare for her.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, there's clips.
And now she's dead at the bottom of that candle-lined staircase. So I really want to know what. And the dad is covering it up too.
Crazy.
Oh, right. The dad did say, he like specifically said, yeah. I still think Shauna and Ty are the top of my list of who killed Lottie. Ty was my first suspect. Then Shauna was bumped up. Now they're like neck and neck for number 1 prime suspect. I don't know.
Also worth noting, and sorry not to ask this question at the end, but Lottie's dad for the jet.
Lottie's dad what?
Paid for the jet to fly them to Nash.
I know. Yeah.
She said, "This is my dad's way of showing his love."
They all get on.
Oh.
They go, "Thank you, Mr. Matthews."
Which
Oh.
also, the ones that come back, why didn't they get money? It doesn't necessarily need to be hot shit, but they should be living in a nicer place. Like, I'm sorry, my plane goes down and leaves me to rot and eat my friends. Give me some money. Like, there's got to be some kind of set, right?
I feel like, especially if it was a private jet, maybe there isn't because of
Yeah.
like a private flight. They probably had a
I
sign.
do wonder though if that is going to come into play as well.
Because again,
But,
there's so
like-
much. I want to see what happens to get
Like
back. It's
what
TV.
what was this plane crash?
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
there, that
Because
Mr.
the
Matthews?
Compass did the same thing for the hikers.
Oh, right.
The Compass
Yes.
was doing weird thing again.
Yeah.
It's the Bermuda Triangle of the Canadian wilderness.
How do we know it's Canada? I forget how they know that. I know we know that, but I
They
don't
were getting
remember.
routed that way. The pilot said we're getting
okay.
routed.
Okay, because I was like, I know we know we're in Canada, but like, how do they know? But that makes more sense. All right. Well, thank you both for joining me. Thank you all for listening. Liv, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Willow Rosenboob. I am tweeting a lot about Yellowjackets and mostly only Yellowjackets right now.
When Liv's into a fandom, she's into a fandom. Rob, where can everyone find you?
I'm on Blue Sky, Huff and Stuff, Blue Sky social, whatever it is. I barely use it, but I'm on internet radio every Thursday. Whynotradio.net on Thursdays at 9 p.m. An electronic and dance show, and occasionally gush about TV. So
Love.
Thank you all for listening. If you want to find My Bloody Judy, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice review. Give us a 4-star rating. It's all appreciated, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.